Trip features a wide variety of out-of-school activities and offers practical advice on how to organise and get the best out-of-school trips. A brand new art trip is on the horizon. Jill Silson and her class of Year 3 and 4 pupils explore a new sculpture valley set in the heart of Cumbria. And Michaela Heard and her pupils from William Davies Primary School in East London visit Spitalfields City Farm for an environmental trip organised by the Growing Schools programme. A brand new day, a brand new excursion. The pupils of Ivegill Primary in Carlisle are among the first to experience the artistic delights of a new sculpture valley in the heart of Cumbria.
Today we're going on a visit to Highhead Sculpture Valley. The advantage is that it's somewhere local and it's also a new venture. And the class I'm taking are a mixed Year 3 and 4. Although the Highhead Sculpture Valley is only a mile away, it takes barely 5 minutes, it still involves the hiring of a coach. Just in case there is anybody who hasn't realised, this gentleman here is Jonathan Stamper, and it's Jonathan who owns Highhead Sculpture Valley. We're going to watch him demonstrate later.
And down some steps and down by the side of the water.
First of all, we're going to have a walk round the actual Sculpture Valley. Seems the weather's being kind to us at the moment. This is a combination of lots of subject areas that we're looking at today, including art, science, geography, and our topic at the moment, which for this half term has been environmental issues. As they walk round the valley, the children will be given the opportunity to have a close look at the sculptures, to feel them, to draw them, to ask Jonathan questions about them.
How long does it usually take to make all these sculptures?
Well, let's say the big ones, that's about the biggest one we've done there, and that one took about a fortnight for 2 of us.
Right.
At the moment, just giving them the opportunity to do some sketching. Some of them have opted to do the whole scene. Some of them are obviously focusing on individual sculptures. While we're on the tour, I want the children to have a look at different styles of sculpture, some which are more representational and realistic, and others which are abstract, and for the children to be able to hopefully know the difference between the two.
No, this is made by Brian, same person.
They're thinking of literacy at the moment, how to describe different materials, so using as many adjectives as they can, so to make it a bit more competitive. I've said, let's see who can get the most. The plastic zip wallets were for each group to collect small pieces of natural materials as we were walking around. What I'm hoping the children will do is to collect their own materials and then when we get back to school attempt to produce some sort of picture using those materials.
Watch your head.
I think there are huge benefits from getting the children outside of the classroom as well as enjoying the fresh air. We'll get the opportunity, providing they're not too noisy, to see some wildlife, to enjoy the squelch of your wellies in the mud. Right, what we're going to do now is to see Jonathan doing some of his carvings in wood.
So what I try and do is to get the wood as smooth as possible with these files and rasps.
That one, is it sharp?
Well, if you're careful, you can touch it. It won't cut you, but it is quite prickly. You want to feel it?
Jonathan, how many tools do you use when you're doing sculptures?
I've got about 10 pieces that I would normally use to make one piece of sculpture. There's filters in the top of there, so it draws all the dirty air in there and it filters out in those little pads. Does anybody want to try it on?
I set up the question and answer session. Basically, sometimes the children just forget what they were wanting to know about. So I feel that it's one way of getting them to think before we go about what they would like to find out, and it helps them to be more focused. I'm going to choose, because he's sitting there hoping I wouldn't choose him.
What kind of wood do you use for your sculptures?
I've got oak, ash, yew, walnut. It's limitless, really.
How many bad-behaved customers have you had?
Well, everybody's been very good. Ivefield School, I think, is the best.
The children have got some free time at the moment, and to have a further look around the gallery. Jonathan's just mentioned that the sketches they're doing he's quite impressed by, and so what we're hoping is that the children will have time to finish them either in painting, collage, pastels, charcoal, and hopefully bring some of them back for Jonathan to put on display in the gallery. I think today's trip was successful, and the work that they've done out on the visit I'm extremely pleased with. I find it very beneficial to try and do follow-up work with the children as soon after a visit as possible, obviously while it's fresh in their mind. Some children prefer to do the hands-on things with the clay work. Others are quite happy to do the literacy side.
Beautifully cast sculptures, some straight, some bendy, some as straight as soldiers. The ground smudgy, bits sound like keys. When Jonathan makes sculptures, one with the tools sound like a scream. The world of sculptures is here, it is invading us all. You better be warned.
When they come back to the classroom, it's the sort of occasion when they will still be talking about it in weeks, even months' time.
There are a number of sculpture parks across the UK. Hannah Bashar Sculpture Garden in Ockley, Surrey provides a place to study sculpture, design and technology and the history of art. At the New Art Centre and Sculpture Park in Salisbury, there are over 100 pieces on exhibition from the 1950s to the present day, including works in polished bronze, marble and wood. Kielder Art and Architecture Programme in Bellingham, Northumberland has tailor-made trips supporting art, forestry skills and environmental education. The Yorkshire Sculpture Park in West Bretton Wakefield organises a wide range of events and activities, including workshops where visitors can make their own sculptures. The Burley Sculpture Garden in Stamford, Lincolnshire offers a schools programme, Adventures in Art, providing a hands-on experience of making sculptures in clay. The Growing Schools programme is a website designed to encourage outdoor learning. The site has a comprehensive online directory to support teachers using the outdoor classroom and aims to reconnect young people with their environment in both rural and urban settings.
To the farm, that's right.
Michaela Haird's pupils are learning about the environment but don't have the benefits of the countryside on their doorstep. By using the site, the school has found a city farm that offers guided tours and an exciting new learning experience. But before meeting the animals and plants, the children must negotiate the busy streets of London.
It's always a concern when you take the children out onto the streets. You know, road safety is one of the biggest issues, especially when you're, for example, I'm at the front of the line and, you know, the end of the line's way down there. You do have to be careful. You have to make sure you have responsible adults who can go along with you. There's not that much room on a lot of the pavements, and it can be quite tricky. The trip that we went on today began obviously with walking to the farm.
I want to talk to you first about the rules of the farm.
The lady who was leading the session introduced herself to the children, and she let the children have a bit of time just to basically familiarise themselves with the place, you know, have a look at the animals.
They're really shy, aren't they?
Growing schools emerged out of a concern that children and young people don't understand where their food comes from. or how it's produced, or how it arrives in the supermarkets. And also there's a general lack of understanding and awareness about healthy living, what constitutes a healthy diet, and where food that children eat in schools comes from. And it was really because of these issues that Growing Schools emerged, and it aimed to try and tackle some of the barriers that schools face.
It's very interesting, actually. You know, don't have a lot of knowledge about where their food comes from.
Hands up.
And so it's quite interesting for them to see,
This one here?
you know, that just the fact that quite a few of the foods that you eat come from plants and they grow in the ground.
Do you know why they're here? No. Well, what we do is we keep them so that they become really, really, really ripe and they turn into seeds. So all the seeds grow inside them, and then we use the seeds to plant them next year.
There are a lot of places in cities, in inner cities, that schools can actually go and visit that perhaps schools aren't aware of. The Federation of City Farms has schools throughout many of the inner city conurbations throughout the UK. I think schools, you know, need to be made aware that these places exist.
Oh, I like the chilies. I'm going to cross.
Wow.
They get very excited about it, and they're always keen to talk about it, which is quite good in class. They're also keen to write about it, or to do activities following up, because it's something that's very vivid in their minds.
For a special treat, because you've all been so good, I'm going to take you to see the rabbits.
Going to a farm, obviously there is the benefits of seeing and experiencing animals that you don't normally experience within a city, and letting them touch them and be involved with them. Also, it just gives them that knowledge and, you know, direct sort of experience, rather than seeing them on a TV or, you know, in a book. I mean, just even the thing like today, when the smell of the manure, you know, I mean, you can talk about it and you can show them pictures and tell them that, you know, they use manure to fertilise plants, but actually experiencing it, you know, it's really beneficial.
More information about the Growing Schools programme, health and safety, funding sources and places to visit is available by logging onto the TeacherNet website. There are many other farms across the country. Fisher's Farm Park in Wisborough Green, West Sussex, gives pupils an understanding of many aspects of farming. A farm show in the theatre gives pupils the chance to meet the animals. At Trotter's World in Bassenthwaite, Cumbria, children encounter animals and are encouraged to touch them. The centre's presentations promote an understanding and respect for the world around us. Conundrum in Berwick-upon-Tweed is England's most northerly farm visitor centre. It offers school groups educational tours of the farm. Pupils can ride the pedal tractors on the farm's nature trail. Schools are offered an educational animal show at the Noah's Ark Zoo Farm in Wraxall, Bristol. Pupils can also try out the safari walk and adventure playgrounds. Dean City Farm in Merton Abbey, London is a community project encouraging people to learn from a working farm. Pupils can see all the usual and some unusual farm animals.